Now then, 10:23. Our next guest is one of the country's most legendary hairdressers, from his high-profile salons to his successful line of products. He's also cut and styled the hair of countless Hollywood superstars during his extraordinary 50-year career.
In 1974, Trevor Sorby's famous hairstyle, the wedge, became the first hairstyle to ever be given a double-page spread in Vogue, cementing him as one of the world's best stylists. And in 2004, he was selected by the Queen to become the first hairdresser awarded with the prestigious MBE.
However, 5 years ago, Trevor received the life-changing news that he had bowel cancer. And last year, he was forced, sadly, to give up hairdressing due to the side effects from chemotherapy.
Despite multiple treatments and surgeries, Trevor joins us today alongside his wife, Carol, with the sad news that his cancer has spread. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Trevor, Carol, thank you for coming in. We've been reminiscing as we sit here.
We have.
Because Trevor and I worked together in the early 2000s, doing a makeover for the Rain show down in Bristol.
Yeah.
You travelled with Trevor.
Yeah, we travelled together,
90s.
went to Hong Kong. He was doing hair for a fashion show that we were all doing with Richard Branson. He was such a gentleman to us all back then that we actually all called him Sir Trevor of Sorby. And that was way before an MBE or anything else, because he was just such a lovely man to us.
It's an extraordinary career, Trevor, that you have had, that I imagine you've taken time to sort of look back a little bit and take in what you've achieved, because it wasn't necessarily what you were going to do in the first place to become a hairdresser, was it?
No, I wanted to be an artist, but I got bullied at school, and my dad was a barber, and he said, come in the salon in the barber shop, and this is like factory workers, just short back and sides, no styling or anything. And I found hairdressing easy. 3 months I was just cutting people's hair. I went from paint to hair, but both on a creative sort of journey.
And you were prolific in the 70s. The wedge and the scrunch dry you created as well. That was your...
I mean, they're all things now that you kind of take for granted.
Yes.
There's all stuff that's so sort of normal. But back then, they were groundbreaking, Trevor.
Yeah, and at the time, you don't know you were groundbreaking anything. You're just doing what you feel natural. I mean, how I invented scrunch drying was a bit of an accident, but I'm going to take, well, all the credit for it.
Right too.
Run with it.
I had this lady with long, thick, red, porous hair, and these were ladies at lunch and, you know, that type of atmosphere. And she wanted it dried with my hands, you know. And I said, look, can I speed this up a little bit? And she said, OK. And anyway, I just got handfuls of the hair and I just put the hairdryer in, held it, and then I just shook it out. And this hair just came out like a haystack. And I experimented on different types of hair, fine, thick, thin, and it worked every time. And it was an accident that
that has gone on.
And, you know, every woman in the world at some point has scrunched their hair.
I have.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
So, look, well, you have achieved so much, Trevor, and I was so sad to hear of your diagnosis, but I know you've got this extraordinary outlook on life and you've stayed very, very positive. But in terms of where you are with your health, can you just explain how things are right now?
Yeah. Well, I think Carol will probably take you through the process because my memory bank's not that great. It started...
Well, we got the news back in June that, you know, he only really had a few months, maybe 6 back then. So both were in a bit of denial at that point. And then you have the last scan, which was September, and that's when you realise there's no treatment is going to work. So from them...
It all started, actually, going to be a bit sort of blunt here, but I lost a lot of blood one night and I was unusually disturbed about that. Went to hospital, sent me to London, and they said, Mr. Sorby, you got bowel cancer. And I went, oh. And I had a little panic attack in the office, and came out of there, and I looked at Carol, and she looked at me, and we were both speechless. We were just walking down the road, like I didn't know what to say. So I went and had a big gin and tonic, and that helped.
It did.
I'm
I bet
sure.
it did.
It loosened my tongue.
The
Anyway,
medicinal power of gin.
yeah. And then it spread to my liver. And there's a 6.5-hour operation. Then it came back to my liver, another 6.5-hour operation. And there's one, the big one that's still there now. It's too, the surgeon won't cut it out. It's too close to a major blood vessel. So I said, by the way, I said, how big is the liver? He said, well, it's about that big. I said, how big's mine? He went, well, about that big. Because I have to cut right around it and everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, the thing is, with me, I never wake up thinking, oh, poor me, I've got cancer, I feel sorry for myself. I know I've got it here, but I haven't got it here. And I go to work, well, up until 2 weeks ago, 2 days a week. And I go there because that's my medicine. That is my life, 60 years. I've worked passionately to achieve beyond my wildest dreams, actually. And when I go in, it's my staff. I've had them for up to 30 years. They're family. I'm just one of the team. But I won't accept. I had a nurse the other day come around to assess me. And I said, will I make Christmas? She said, I don't know, Trevor. I said, I damn well will. I damn well will.
I think, Carol, you're so incredibly positive, Trevor. So it's incredible. I think it must be so incredibly hard for you as well.
Totally overwhelming on
Yeah.
most days. But I get my strength through this man. He's guiding me through a good death.
Yes.
Lorraine touched on that on one of her programmes, living a good life, dying a good death. And up until then, I hadn't thought about that. But what we do every day now, we're thankful for the day that we have, that we wake up together, and it's all the simple things. Our little dog is pure medicine. We've got a wonderful family. We are supported by the whole Trevor Sorby family, which some of his staff members have worked for him 30 years, 25 years. There's more than 20 people that have worked for him up in those numbers that are family, and we're all being guided by Trevor.
And are you caring for you too? Because you have to be so strong as the person who takes care of your partner too. Are you caring for you as well?
At the beginning, when we first got the diagnosis, as you know, treatment's finished, we can't do any more, I really was struggling. I couldn't be as strong and as brave. I'm crying all the time. Wasn't safe to be out really, and I kept myself at home.
Yeah.
But Trevor and my son both encouraged me to go to counselling. I thought,
a great idea, actually.
Why? I've never been anxious, and I've actually started bereavement counselling, which I didn't know you could do before. And they're going to guide me through, hold my hand, and up until 2 years or however long it takes after the event. So I feel very supported, very lucky I have that support, but more so from Trevor than anyone.
Yeah.
Because he's incredible.
You're a team.
Yeah.
You're a team.
Trevor, it's a real treat for us to have you on today, for you to be so honest and share such devastating news, but equally for us to be able to touch base and celebrate what an extraordinary life. And there's a reason those people have worked for you for 25, 30 years, because you have such generosity of spirit. You're such a joyous person to be around. But there will be people watching at home today wondering, you know, if you could give them some advice about life and about how you're dealing with things or just anything, what you might say to them.
The brain rules the body. The heart plays a big part as well, but that is the engine room. And putting yourself... Because I've got a charity and I've helped many women through cancer, cutting wigs for them and doing all of that. People handle it in different ways. There is no one way, no right way, wrong way. It's however that person deals with it. If you get this right, because I believe the mind is stronger than any other, function. And it's easy for me to say, get that right. People say, well, how do you do that? Well, I don't know is the answer, but it's the way I'm made, I guess. But you can fight this. And doctors have even said, Trevor, you know, you're breaking medical science. You shouldn't be here right now. I'm like, I ain't going nowhere, mate. I'm squeezing it in. And, that, you know, the most important thing is, like, last night, we went out and just had a lovely dinner. Oh. You know? And then the other week, I said, Carol, should we be teenagers? And
you didn't get all smoochy, did you? Did you get a bit smoochy?
Always.
Oh, I love it.
Back row. No, we went and saw a film, which was rubbish, actually. But then we went and had a pizza afterwards. Do you know what I mean? Just being young. And just
simple,
for sure. It's like you mentioning the dog. It's all that.
Yeah,
it's all that. Yeah.
Look, it's. I don't want this to end. I don't want the conversation to end, but I'd never want it to end, Trevor. It's been a real privilege to have you as a small part of my life and professional life as well, and to see the joy that you've brought to so many people and your legacy and the charity, My New Hair that's still going on, and the people that you have helped and supported along the way, and your energy and your positivity and your light will continue to shine so strongly, Trevor. Thank you for coming in and being here. And Carol, thank you as well.
Thank you for having
You're
us.
a lovely team. You're a lovely team.
Still twinkling.
Yeah.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, do.
Lovely to have you here with us, George. Thank you so much for popping in. We were listening to that wonderful clip of Come a Chameleon and the harmonica player in the video. Is that the harmonica player that actually plays the harmonica in the song?
I don't think it is.
No!
We didn't
The harmonica
think it
player
was.
was actually quite a famous guy called Judd Lander.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't know why he didn't get there. It was the 80s. If you didn't look right, you weren't in the video.
Right, OK. Because we looked at it and we're like, he doesn't look as though he's playing that. Oh,
Here we go, look.
It looks like he's playing it with his nose.
We were doing Bridgerton before it was trendy. Look at us. I mean, it's so ahead of its time in a funny sort of way.
Oh, lady whistled out.
Stream of fashion. It's such a magical song, though.
It is, and it's a song that won't go away. It's in Despicable Me. It's in the Virgin adverts. It just won't. It's like this song that just keeps. It's like a boomerang. It just keeps coming back.
Do you still listen to it fondly?
Yeah, I've started doing this thing on my solo tour. I even opened with it one night.
Did you?
Which is so outrageous, because usually you save it to the
That'd
end.
be the big one.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? There's loads of other songs. Let me open with it. And it was quite interesting, because people were rushing in because they didn't want to miss the opening, because obviously people don't do that. But, yeah, it's just a great song. I couldn't write it now.
Why?
Well, I don't know if I would.
In what way? Because of the...
I don't know, just that particular song, it's like... Who really knows why a song's so popular?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's repetition, familiarity, because, really the repetition is the backbone of genius. You hear things over and over and they sort of become part of your DNA, and it's just one of those songs. No one liked the song when I brought it to the band.
Really?
They all said it was rubbish.
Because
Because they thought it was too poppy. which is anything too poppy?
I
it ever
hope
be?
they've eaten their
yeah.
words.
Do you enjoy reminding them of that? Should we play that really poppy song now, Bill?
All the time. Always say, should have kept the publishing.
But it's fascinating, isn't it? Those moments in time that still are here now, you can still enjoy, because you and the boys are going back on tour all together.
We are doing a celebration of our first 2 albums. So Kissing to Be Clever and Calibre Numbers, absolutely in order, which is
As they are on the album.
Exactly, and they're quite short, those albums. The first album's only about 35 minutes long, because we just didn't do, you know, it's all about choruses.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, it's funny because I've been re-recording the songs as well, and it's just so brilliant when you climb into them and you think, what was I thinking when I wrote those lyrics? They're so almost like beautifully naive.
Yeah. And what's the difference, do you think, between touring back then and touring now?
I think I kind of enjoy it more now because I make the whole process fun.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, it was like no one can come in the dressing room when I'm getting ready, drama, anxiety. And now I just kind of enjoy all of it.
Yeah.
So when I get up, you know, I kind of just pursue joy in a way that I didn't think was possible. I didn't really understand that happiness was a choice.
And do you think that's to do with getting older, or do you think it's with hindsight and experience?
Well, it's practice. I followed this thing called the 3 principles.
Yeah.
So it kind of teaches you to look at the way you think in a different way.
Yeah.
Plus, I talk to myself a lot. You know, I do a lot of affirmations. The stuff I did when I was in the jungle,
Yes.
I do that every day. As soon as I wake up, I tell myself I'm in a good mood, because it's very easy to slip into, I would say to people who say I'm not a morning person, it's like you're just making it a reality.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
I really do think that happiness is definitely a choice. I wish I knew how to have fun in the way I do now.
Yeah.
But, you know, everything's now, isn't it? So
Yeah,
I enjoy
for
it.
sure. You learn from life as you go along.
Yeah.
And you've got some very special guests on this tour. Who's
Tony Hadley,
Yeah.
Heaven 17.
Would you have been back in the 80s, though? Wouldn't Culture Club and Spandau Ballet have been sort of major rivals?
In principle, but I mean,
I know
we
it's
were
different
doing the
thing.
same thing. We
Yeah.
came from the same kind of scene, you know,
Yeah.
part of the new romantic scene,
Yeah.
Spandau Ballet. But one funny thing, because Gary always says to me that I walked up to him and said, you know, your band's never going to get anywhere.
Gary Kemp. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
I said, we're going to be more successful than you. It's just like, there was that kind of childish rivalry. But, you know, nowadays, obviously, I'm able to really appreciate what they were doing. And, you know, it's a different thing. you know.
I think it was also such a moment in time, that time. Well, like when Martin Kemp came on the
Yeah.
show and he was talking about going to the Blitz, and that the 80s, it was like in colour. It was like seeing the world in Technicolor, and it was just a different time.
I remember seeing Spandau Ballet. They came into the squat I was living in, and they were doing a photo shoot in the hallway, and they were in their, you know, their capes and their tartan, and it was like, you know, just, you know, I remember it so vividly.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously we all thought we were going to be famous first.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I'll never get anywhere. You know, it was so competitive.
But his mum used to make their outfits,
Yeah.
and she didn't put a zip in the front, so he couldn't ever go to the toilet as well. That was one of the other pains of doing
My
it.
mum used to make a lot of
She
my
made yours
stuff.
too.
She became my sort of collaborator. After, at first, kind of being totally against it, then
Yeah.
realising, you know, she couldn't stop me, so she encouraged me.
So really embraced it.
So you've got painting. You're doing an exhibition they're showing your paintings with David Bowie, Madonna.
Yeah, they're paintings I've done of
Yeah.
Bowie and Madonna
Oh,
Prince,
I
and
see.
myself. And actually, I've never done an exhibition in the UK. I've done them in Europe,
Yeah.
Belgium, Denmark, and Monaco. This is my first British show.
How do you feel about people seeing them over here? I mean,
I
they're
love
extraordinary
them. They look
pictures.
amazing.
I love the doing. I'm a doing person. I love, the Japanese call it ikigai, where you find,
Yes.
I love to get up and I love to work on things. People always say to me, you never stop, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Because if you make your work fun, it's not work.
Yeah.
And you've got a new song out as well.
I've got a song up for Grammy. No, it's not nominated yet, but it's considered. I've actually got 2 songs up for Grammys. One with Paris Savette and Kiki Rowland.
Yeah.
You're Not the One.
Yes.
And also Electric Energy with Ariana DeBose. So I've got 2 up, so hopefully one of them will get it.
But this is the doing and the showing. You're doing these, and you know, that's the point, isn't it? You are still performing. You're
you know, creativity keeps me out of trouble. That's the best way.
Which is always good.
You know, using my hands and my imagination, it just keeps me out of trouble.
Well, long may it continue.
Yeah, for sure. We like you
Your
getting in
UK and
trouble.
Ireland tour, you're going away with Tony Hadley, Heaven 17, and the tickets are on sale.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and we're sold out in Wales. They love me in Wales. Thank you, Wales.
God.
You know what I mean?
Thank you for coming today. Thank
Lovely
you.
to see you,
Hello.
Joe.
Yeah, God bless.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
It's so lovely to watch. Sue Barker and Phil
What was the
Tufnell
answer?
joining us now.
Must have been bold. Must have been bold. Batting away from the fast bowlers going,
Why did you like batting last?
because I didn't like walking off on my own. That's why I used to bat number 11.
But it is when you watch it like that, just those kind of isolated clips, you see just how much you all love hanging out
Absolutely.
and what great mates you are.
Yeah.
And you all take the mickey out of it, but
Yeah.
but it's a pleasure to watch because of all
It's a
this.
pleasure to take the mickey out of them as well. Absolutely love it.
It's just so easy as well.
They just push them up. I just dash them down. You know, it's like they just they give me so much banter and so much
Fodder.
ammunition
Yeah.
to do damage to them.
But
It's
there
great.
are, you know, when you look back at what an extraordinary series The Question of Sport always was for all of us as we've gone through over the years. There's just so many iconic moments, so many iconic sportsmen and women. I always wondered, Toughers, because I was lucky enough to go on one Christmas special. It was just an
Yes.
ambition to go on, which I
Very
love.
good you were as well.
Well,
Yeah, you were good.
He's very competitive. That's the thing, Phil.
The good thing was I was on Toughest team. But I just always, what I marvelled at was these sportsmen and women wanted to come on. They wanted to be tested as well, didn't they?
Absolutely, and they loved it, loved every single minute of it. It was great just to see people, you know, in the green room and what have you. It was like the dressing room. You know what I mean? We was all having a bit of a chat and having a banter, slightly more relaxed than when you're, you know, on your starting blocks at 100 metres or something in the Olympics. So it was just lovely to see everyone.
Yeah.
And we'd all go out
Just-
for dinner after, wouldn't we?
Absolutely, all
Great.
go and have a bit of dinner and a drink afterwards and what have you. So, yeah, it's great to be back.
Isn't it?
Well, not back, but just going to be doing the tour.
You're doing a tour.
Yeah.
We'll go on to that. Because you were a contestant, Sue, before you got asked to
Yes,
host
I
the
mean, I
show.
used to watch it with my dad. I mean, I'll go back way. And then I was thrilled when I came on as a mystery guest, and then as a guest, and then wonderful David Coleman, who had presented it for so long, asked me to take it on. So it was,
Yeah.
oh, there he is, look, the man himself with
Beefy.
Beefy
Yeah.
and
Beefy
Bill.
and Bill.
You know,
The
tashes, the
wonderful.
There was a lot of strong moustaches.
And some very dodgy jumpers. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are so many iconic moments to it. Even for me watching it, when I remember my dad watching it, and you'd sit at home and you'd remember how Emlyn used to giggle and break down into... And the one where Princess Anne went on as well. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and Emlyn put his arm round her. I mean, he's royalty, Emlyn, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The men in black nearly came in and sort of like sorted it out. Excuse me, Emily.
What I think we all... It's got such nostalgia as well, though, Toughers, because we all can remember watching it. And I think one of the things that I struggled with a little bit from the outside was how it ended for you guys, because it wasn't necessarily how you would have chosen for... I mean, these things are never going to be easy.
No.
But it wasn't necessarily how you would have chosen for it to end.
Well, no, for sure. But I mean, I think I just look at it as we had a fantastic time doing it,
Exactly.
really. You know what I mean? I was very lucky, as you said, being on there about 10 or 11 times as a guest, and then to be asked to captain in it was a huge honour. Did it for 13 or 14 years, met these guys, had a great laugh. And so, you know, you can't do it forever, can you? You know what I
No,
mean?
it's not. You know, it's their show. They have the right. They wanted to make changes and do everything, and that's absolutely fine. You know, we totally accepted that. It was just the way it was handled.
Yeah.
But it's all gone now, and we're back together.
Time's a great
Yeah.
healer, and the lovely thing is that the three of you are going on tour. A Question of Live.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what people can expect on the tour, Sue.
Oh, a lot of brilliant answers from... Oh, no.
Well-
No, sorry, that was probably
I've switched off a little bit, I must admit.
You're not
It's
as sharp
what
as you were.
I'm not as
She's a
sharp.
worry, because you were never that sharp. If I'm honest.
Very cheeky.
You could be a captain. You're on.
So cheeky.
No, we're going to have a lot of audience interaction.
Yes.
We ask the audience because they need a bit of help.
that's good.
And of course, we'll definitely have the charades game. So
Yes.
where
Picture
Tuppers goes
board.
into his own
Picture board.
hopefully as well.
Yeah.
So is it actually going to be a competition on the stage? What's the format?
Yeah, it's very much like the programme. So
Right.
2 teams of 3 and different rounds over 2 halves. And we will get a lot of audience interaction because that
Yep.
has worked really well when we did the tour a few years ago. And and helps him out.
Yes.
And you're going all around the country?
Special guests. Special.
Oh, you got some special guests coming in?
Oh, yes.
I mean, it's going to be a sporting who's who, basically, because a lot of people wanting to come on. We're going to get you on.
I'd love to come in again. I would absolutely love it.
Do you want to be with me again?
Of course I would. Unbeaten, Tuffers. Did you ever run the stats on who came out on top across the series?
I should imagine it might have been Matthew.
What I love about all of them is they're all so competitive. So we couldn't have you on without having our own little quiz with you, if we may, to indulge us. This is a little bit of what you're going to get.
Very serious.
Yes, this is a question of you.
Oh.
Look at the graphics.
Wow.
Push the boat
That, and we're giving away £20,000. I mean, good Lord.
No wonder
we
things are
won't
falling
make it till
apart.
summer.
Right then, so we've got a question for each of you about your fellow hosts on the show.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay, so Phil, here's a question for you about Sue. How many minutes?
Oh, God.
How many minutes did Sue play in her 1976 French Open victory?
How many minutes did she play?
How long did it take her to win?
An hour and 3/4.
No.
An hour and 3/4.
3 sets.
Oh, 3 sets. I was going to say 3
Oh, you're
sets.
probably about
How many minutes?
An hour and 3/4, which is 60.
plus.
Let's say an hour and 50 minutes makes it easier. So that's
110.
Yes, 110.
You're going 110?
Yes.
It was 86. Oh, she's quicker than you thought.
OK. Sue, this one is for you.
Right.
How many Test wickets did Phil take in his career?
5?
121. 121.
Noises off. Over 200, I'd say.
Over 200.
No, not
I
10.
think you're closer than Phil was with his
She
guess.
just whispered 121.
It was 121.
121.
At the moment, it's 0-0, so we need a tiebreaker.
Right, OK.
Fortunately, we've got someone who's lent us a tiebreaker. So let's have a listen to what the tiebreak question is.
Hello, you wonderful people. I had to be connected to you in some way. Sorry, I'm not on the sofa with you, Sue and Phil. But I've got a surprise for you. Here's a question just to get people in the mood for our tour. You're going to know this, but I'll throw it out there, Annie. How many England caps have I got? Not British and Irish Lions caps. England caps. How many have I got?
He knows.
Now, I
You
reckon I
know.
might know this. Now, I don't want to sound like a Matthew Dawson geek or anything like that. I mean,
Too late,
he's a
yes.
great lad, but I
Dawson
don't like him that
superfan.
much. But I'm super fan.
Come on, superfan Tuffers.
77.
You're going with 77. Sue, did you? What would you
I'll
say?
go 76.
You've got
just 'cause it's
76.
obviously something near there.
Let's find out who's the biggest Dawson superfan. Matt, what's the answer?
Right. I think you've had enough time because they should know this. It's like one of those things that they've probably got tattoos saying 77 because that's the amount of caps. Love you guys. See you soon.
See, that's the great thing, Tuffers. You've got to
Congratulations.
underestimate them, then knock them dead when you know the
you
answer.
see.
Congratulations.
So you never lose it, do you?
It's
Never,
stuck in there.
still
It was in there
there.
somewhere. Just had to
Reflexes of
pull
the
it out.
cat. That's why he's got the cat. Oh, no, it's because you sleep everywhere.
That's it, yeah.
Thank
Lovely
you
to
for
see
coming
you
on the show.
both.
Tickets are on sale tomorrow for the
Yes.
tour.
mytickets.co.uk.
Fabulous.
Excellent.
It's a great
Thank you
fun
very
tour.
much.
You're going to
Thank you.
absolutely love it. It's great to see you. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's
for popping in.
great.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Our next guest is on a mission to help us all better understand our finances and put pounds in our pockets.
And broadcaster Steph McGovern is doing just that on her hit podcast, The Rest is Money, which has had an incredible 7 million downloads. I mean, how do you even compute
I know,
that?
I can't. I know, because when I think about it, I just think maybe, like, my mum and dad will listen and that'll be about it. And then you're like, 7 million, where did they all come from?
brilliant.
From quite a salubrious stable, though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
You know, Gary
Yeah.
Lineker has taken over the world with podcasting.
Yes.
The rest is football, the rest is entertainment,
The rest is history, which is obviously where the phrase comes from in the first
the rest
place.
is politics.
Yes.
The rest is politics US.
Yeah.
I think I listened to all of them as well.
Did you?
Did you get sucked in?
Yeah. But they're brilliantly made. I think I love podcasts. I love long-form interviews and stuff.
Yeah.
And I love how you and Robert go about the subject matter in a way, because I'm not brilliant, understanding all that sort of stuff, in a way that I can enjoy and understand.
Do you know what, though? You saying that, I'm not brilliant at understanding all that stuff. Too many people say that, and I think that's the issue, is like, finance and what's going on in the world with the economy shouldn't be something that people feel like that about. We should all be empowered, because essentially we're all part of it. And so that's kind of why I do it, really, and why Robert does it. We're just like, let's get people to understand so that they can make better decisions about their money, and they can see where it's all going and just see the little tricks everyone uses to try and get you to spend more money, things like that.
I think also because of the language that's used and the jargon, it's almost like it puts people off even getting involved just even a little bit. You don't have to have an economics degree to know what's happening.
Yeah, that is absolutely it, Kat. It's that thing, you know, if you look at, for example, I won't go into what it is, but one of our episodes, we did a full series on it, is about limited derivative investments, which you're like, oh, what? But it's the reason, fundamentally, why we had that whole mini-budget crash with Liz Truss. It's why interest rates went up. It's why all of our mortgages went up if you have a mortgage. Or, you know, if you rent, it possibly why your landlords put the rent up. So we want to kind of break that down and go, you know, it's in the financial institutions' interests for us to not really understand this, because then they can make more money out of us. So let's just try and break it down for you. And we do that, you know, it's quite long form, as you say, Ben. You kind of, you know, we do this over several episodes. But then people can go, oh, all right, it's just that. Yeah. And then it's easier to make sense of it.
It's interesting, because we actually had Jamie Oliver on the other day, didn't we? And he was saying, actually, we should be taught in schools how to do basic cooking, like, I don't know, roast a chicken, make a soup, make a frittata, whatever, so that you can always draw on that. I feel like at some stage, you know, people would like to own their own home and get a mortgage, and it's all things that you want to do. Yeah. It would be useful for it to be taught.
This is literally my biggest beef in life, is why we don't leave school knowing, like, what council tax is, or what your APR is on a loan, what a mortgage is. Where do you buy all these different things you need in your life, and where's the money going? Like, it would be so good, wouldn't it, if we could left school and we just knew those things. Like, even in business, in the business sense, what's the tax? How do I do my self-assessment?
Yes.
You know, how do I do all these things? And I was interviewing the Education Secretary about this kind of thing last week, and it's on the podcast as well, because I think our economy would do so much better if we could all navigate it a bit better and we knew how to do these things.
Well, I've got a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, so my 19-year-old's just been travelling, and he had to budget his way around the world, and then he's gone to university and he's suddenly having to navigate that budget. And he phoned me up the other day, and he's realised he's only got £5 left for this week because he spent too much money on Monday. And he's gone back and he said that he's suddenly having to think about those sorts of things. They had none of that. And he's, you know, he's studying maths, so he loves his numbers and stuff like that. They had none of this practical life skills, certainly with finance. Martin Lewis has talked about it for years. Why is it not on the curriculum? Certainly when you get to an age where it's suddenly going to become tangible. It seems extraordinary.
Yeah, because I once interviewed this maths professor who, you know, has done all this hardcore pure maths, probably like what your son's doing, and he was saying he got his tax return wrong. Like, because it's just that pure maths. It's not the applied maths that you need in everyday life.
Have you always loved this sort of thing, though, Steph? Have you always, like, even as a kid?
I have, yeah. So, like, I think I've always been obsessed with money and how you make money. And so when I was a kid, I used to sell Take That stickers at school, because I worked out at the shop where my mum was. She was a radiographer in a hospital. The shop in the hospital had the different Take That stickers that you couldn't get in the other shops.
Nice.
So I used to buy them in bulk and then sell them at school, or I'd do like little jumble sales with my neighbours' bits and bobs and that types of thing. So I think I always have. And then as I've got older, I've just obviously taken it to the next level of thinking about, you know, how do you invest? What are the different ways to do that? And, you know, how can you make the most of it and stop wasting money and that type of thing? So, yes, and I'm nosy. I like knowing what's going on in everyone's lives and what they're doing with their money too.
Yeah. And what about your daughter now, like the next generation? Because she's little. So in a way, it's a way of really kind of thinking, OK, how do we break this down? How do we make it easy? How do we make it tangible as well? Because at the moment, we're all on our... We've got everything on our phones. It's almost like real money doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's much more difficult now to teach kids about money, as you say, Kat, because you don't have the coins to go, this is £1 and this will get you well, hardly anything these days. But, you know, all these different bits. And so what I've been doing with my little girl, she's so she's just started school, she turns 5 soon, is showing her, like, transactions. I know this might sound a bit mad, but just saying to her, right, she understands about, you know, how you pay with your phone and your card and things. It's just saying to her, right, that costs £10. So, you know, that's the equivalent of that toy or this and that. And I'll say to her as well, like, and I'll show her the cash equivalent too, because I think that's important, is just to give that kind of tangible
visual
sense, as you say. But also I say to her, one of the things with her now is I'll say to her, if she doesn't want to go to school or if she's like, oh, why can't we do this? I'll say, well, I've got to go to work and earn some money. You've got to go to school and get smarter. And then we'll be able to have nice weekends and nice holidays. And she said to me the other day on a weekend, she was like, can we go to the cinemas? And I was like, oh, no. And she went, you need to go to work and get some money and then we can go to the cinemas. And I was like, all right, love.
I love it. A little mini J-Lo in the weekend.
Love that. She is listening, though. Now, you've got some tips for us and for our viewers here, Steph, that you can share. 3 tips that you think are going to be able to help us.
Yeah, so fundamentally, the thing I would say is always make your money pay. So when you are spending money, always think about rewards you can get for it. So, for example, I always use my credit card that gets air miles on it to buy everything, all my daily stuff. Obviously, you've got to make sure you pay it off at the end of the month, otherwise you'll be paying interest and all that. But they can soon rack up if you're using it for everything. And again, businesses are desperate for you to spend your money with them. So make sure they reward you for that, like your loyalty cards. Obviously, pretty much every retailer has some type of loyalty now. Even like your local independents will have coffee cards or whatever else. So just make sure you do that. And just there's other things as well, like cashback rewards. You can, you know, I'm sure Coupon King has been on
Jordan
and told you about those. So I always think make your money pay. That's the first thing I would say.
Okay.
And then the other thing, and you know, I've throughout my life have been called Spreadsheet Steph because I'm always like, what's coming in, what's going out.
Does it give you joy when you see it fully?
Yeah, it does when I fill out my little... But there's loads of easy ways to do that now. So I just say spreadsheet your life, because if you are constantly looking at what's coming in and out, and there are loads of apps to help you do this now, like Plum, Good Budget, Spend Tracker, all of these apps will do it for you. So it might be take a photo of your receipt or just basically fill in the different bits of information about your bills and everything else. And you'll then see where you're spending money you don't realise is racking up. So the obvious one is something like coffee. You might be paying a couple of quid a day and you might be thinking, right, we need to save for the holiday. Where am I spending my money? What's coming in and out? Oh, my God, we're spending 50 quid a month on coffee. We don't need to do that.
Unless you actually see it written down, you don't think about it.
I mean, it's obvious when you see it, but so many people don't do it because, as you said, Kat, you're just magically using your phone all the time. And then the third thing I would say is, for me, you think about making smart investments. There's the obvious things like you might want to invest in your house, buying a house. You might, you know, want to put money in a savings account. But the thing I'm really interested in at the minute is investing in startups. So there are loads of incentives around putting money into startups. And you might think, hang on a minute, don't you have to be loaded? Don't you have to be one of the dragons and have millions of pounds? You don't. So you can do it with as little as a tenner. So if you've got like a tenner to spare, you might want to use one of these sites like Crowdcube or Seedrs. It's just changed its name to Republic Europe. But these types of platforms will tell you about all the different companies out there that are looking for investors. And then you can put in a bit of money and you'll get a tiny bit of equity in that business. But a couple of things that come with it is sometimes product discounts. So they might say, if it's like some type of cafe or whatever, they might give you a bit of discount. They might put your name up on the walls, things like that. There's loads of different things. But there's tax incentives too. So the money you put in, there's often tax relief if they're part of a scheme, which a lot of them are, where you can claim back half of that money you've put in against your tax. So there's that type of thing. And then also, it might be a company that ends up doing really well.
You never know.
And it's exciting to watch, to see how they do and what's going to happen next with them.
And you can put as little as a tenner in if
you want
to. And especially if you like the products too.
Yeah, that's great. I've just enjoyed it. I've got like a little portfolio and I'm going on and going. And some of them are really cool inventions. And, you know, it gives you a good sense. But you have to be aware you can lose your money. You know, that's the thing with all of this. If they go bust, that goes. But there's that tax relief there.
Some lovely tips there. We'll make sure that they go on the app so everyone can go back and study them and make sure they do them. Steph, thank you for popping in.
Amazing. Thank you.
Really loved it. There are new episodes of The Rest is Money every week, and it's available to download wherever you get your podcasts. Love you, see. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Different Man is released in UK cinemas from tomorrow, the 4th of October.
Yeah, Adam Pearce and Sebastian Stan joined us now. The reason we were laughing, because actually you were watching that, Sebastian, you were saying we had a lot of fun making this film.
We did. I mean, it was really special even from reading it, and, you know, just so unpredictable and a lot of fun. And yeah.
We watched it yesterday, Adam, and it's a fascinating film. I think I've sort of tried to write down, it's fascinating, it's intriguing, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's funny, it's heartbreaking, it's sad. It's a complicated, complex film, isn't it?
And yeah, and it's really kind of genre bending. And full credit to writer-director Aaron Schoenberg. It was everything there was on the script. Like, no one's improvising, no one's like coming in and waxing lyrical or what have you. And he's a credit to himself for what he's done here. And yeah, we shot it in New York, 22 days. Also, we shot it on tape. We were on Super 16, which is another added little bit of pressure. But no, it's a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Got to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Right here. So, yeah, and now out tomorrow, we couldn't be happier.
And you play a character called Oswald in the movie. I mean, it truly is. You're absolutely right. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. You can't compare it to anything. You play a character called Oswald, and what's so interesting about the character is he's not black and white. He's not a hero. He's not a villain. He's just human.
Mm. And he just turns up. There's no sort of like suspense or sort of like jump scare or any of the old tropes that we normally see around disfigurement of kind of villainy, victimhood or false heroism.
Yeah.
He's just a guy that just charms his way through life, and then the audience are left to make up their own mind as to whether or not he's in the right place at the right time too much or any of that McGovern.
And we should explain, Sebastian, your character starts the film with a serious facial disfigurement.
With neurofibromatosis. Yeah.
And then gets this miracle cure.
Yeah, he's an aspiring actor and, you know, lives alone. And so in sort of some stereotypical fashion, as we might have expected. And then he undergoes this surgery and sort of thinks his dreams are going to come true. And it's very much the opposite.
And you actually wore some of the prosthetics. It was the same prosthetics, actually, as the Penguin. We had Colin Farrell in the other week.
Yeah, Colin Farrell was in.
But you actually wore some of the prosthetics as well, going around New York. How did you feel and what did you find?
Well, it was extremely isolating. I was very scared. I mean, you stand out, obviously, and there's a powerless feeling to it. At least that was my experience. I was trying to create the backstory of the character and find out sort of where he's come from. Obviously, I've spoken to Adam a lot, and he's been very generous to share some of his experience with me. But Edward, my character, really is alone in the world. And as I always say, I feel people aren't very good liars. You know, you really start to feel kind of the uncomfortability, and it really pointed out that we still have to normalize this idea of being different. You know, we have to kind of bring that more into the forefront so that we have a better way for people to be curious rather than be distanced.
And from your perspective, Adam, I know you work closely with Sebastian on this, but to have the Winter Soldier, somebody who is known as a superhero character in a big film, playing this role that is reflective of your life. And I know that he was trying to sort of mimic some of your movements and some of your rhythms and patterns. How does that feel for you, and what was it like?
I mean, if you're not going to go into this wanting to be open, honest and vulnerable with each other as actors, we've got no right to ask the audience to do the same when it comes to the finished product. And if you're going to do something, you've got to do it well. And that was like really important from day one to kind of hop on a Zoom, be really emotional, honest to the point of being visceral, to help sort of like equip each other to be able to do this and to get the best performances we could on tape at the end of the day when it's all said and done. And I think we got there. So that's for the audiences to decide tomorrow.
Oh, well, I mean, from our perspective, it is an extraordinary watch. It really is. And asks you questions all the way through. You're constantly asking, about how would I react and what's my approach to these things, which I think is what it is. I love the fact, though, Sebastian, you work closely with Adam on this. Your new film that's coming out, Donald Trump, you're playing Trump. Have you been working closely with Trump as well? What did you do?
Adam, I should have called you as well for that. No, he seems to have his hands full, so... I was on my own there.
You often talk, I think, in the past about you making decisions. You're worried about making decisions that will be a mistake. Is that? I mean, because some of these roles they're really challenging, and you take and play a character like Donald Trump in a role that's coming up to an American election. Is that one of those things that your friends were saying? Are you really sure you want to do Donald Trump?
A lot of people told me to not do it, and I can understand that, you know. But I'm at a place in my life where I want to ask questions, and not just for myself, but I want to be part of a conversation that I think reflects the times that we're in, brings up issues that maybe are not always comfortable, but tries to get a little bit closer to the truth in some capacity. And I don't know how else to do that except to try and go there into the storm, if you will.
Yeah.
And understand what happened. You know, we're talking about a man that is so beloved and so hated in all these extreme ways. And I think it's important to understand why.
And how have you been doing the research for the part?
Well, I mean, fortunately, there's a lot of material out there. I mean, information.
He's not been shy, has he?
No.
Well, but I mean, going back into the 70s and the 80s, and really a time that many people have forgotten. You know, I mean, everyone's very familiar with him now, but back then, you know, he was very different, and there is, you know, there's the Rona Barrett that was really helpful. There's all his appearances on Oprah and Larry King, Barbara Walters. He was on the cover of GQ, Time Magazine, New York Times. I mean, all that stuff is available to people, so there was a lot to draw from. But it's interesting because it seems to me that there's a very different person there, and so how did it all evolve to this?
Yeah, makes an interesting story. Is it true you used to work in cinemas and used to sell the
I did. I was an usher, yeah.
You were an usher in the cinema?
I can't eat popcorn anymore because I've eaten it so much now. But yeah, when I was 15, yeah.
Amazing. And now you're making the films that everyone's eating popcorn watching as well.
And talking about.
Absolutely.
And, pushing boundaries.
Thank you both for coming in, Adam. It's lovely to meet you. Sebastian, thank you for coming in as well. As we were saying, A Different Man's released in UK cinemas from tomorrow, which is the 4th of October. It's a fascinating watch, and I think we'll ask lots of questions of the audience, which are the questions we want to be asking, right?
Thank you.
Great to see you both.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Completely hooked.
You were watching it last night again, weren't you? And you just messaged me going, how good are they?
It wasn't just... I didn't expect you to be that good.
Well, I didn't expect to be able to do it at all, to be honest. Before we go into this, can I just say I've known Steph for years. I've never heard her go quite so Mackham as when the subject of both food and money was brought up in the same question.
No, man! No, man! No!
It was very definite.
Yeah, she's gone down to talk. She's downstairs. She's going to be coming back a little bit later on. Can we... Wait,
yes.
You came on the sofa with us early summer, Chris, and there was speculation that you were going to be doing this job. And you sort of would neither confirm nor deny. Obviously, you have done it and you are blowing everyone away and we've been loving it. What were your expectations going into Strictly, and how has that differed to what's actually happened?
So I had no expectations, really, because I didn't know what it was. And I couldn't... Like, if I do a TV show, I'll go back and I'll stick it on, see what it is. And you can usually get a good idea just by listening to it. I get nothing from listening to Strictly. And so I had no idea what a cha-cha was, a whatever they are, the foxtrot, what's it called? The
Foxtrot.
Foxtrot, we've done that one, I can't remember. All these different things. I don't know how complicated they are, I don't know how good the people get at them, how rubbish the rubbish people are. And so it was so unknown. And so I had no idea if I could do it.
But your wife and your daughter, I'm sure, knew the show, and had they sort of gone, do you know what? I think you'll be all right, or actually, crikey, this is going to be a real test.
Everyone I knew thought, was like, how are you going to do that? You know, even my daughter said to me, no, Daddy, you'll fall off the stage and break your leg.
Well, I was going to ask you what the postman thought about it now, because I know you kind of tested it on him and he went, it's good.
Well, this is the thing. You say, like, I wasn't allowed to confirm it, but it was in the paper, so I wasn't allowed to confirm it on the telly. But, like, when people were saying to me, I was going, well, yeah, I'm just not allowed to confirm it. But he said, I said to him, as I said just to you, I don't know what I'm getting into. I said, I don't know how good the good people get at it. And he goes to me, I'm not going to lie, mate, it's good.
So the thing that, Diane, I think that is really lovely is the way watching the two of you, and if you can watch the social media stuff, the way you're both sitting down and talking about it, particularly your dad offers sort of deconstructive advice to both of you. He sends videos that you share. He was was he a little bit disappointed when you got picked with Chris? Was that?
He definitely wasn't disappointed, but I think I think along with a lot of other people, they kind of thought, you know, you're going to have a lovely time, but it might not last that long because we just didn't know how it was all going to work. But he's changed his tune.
Has he?
And he thinks that Chris is going to be there. They're coming over in November. And
so he's got to stay till November.
He's got to stay till November, but he's convinced he's going to watch us live dance, and he's absolutely loving it. He calls me almost every second day, every day really, and wants to talk to Chris. Not me, wants to talk to Chris. So they're having little chats. But yeah, at the beginning he said to me, you know, Di, winning isn't everything. Just go out there and have a good time, and that's it. And now
whoa!
Hang on a minute.
That's not what happened. Right? He didn't say that to you, right? Let's be honest about this. I'm not letting you get away with that, right? She said to me, Chris, I asked to be paired with you. I'm a big fan of your comedy. I really wanted to be paired with you. And then her dad let slip that she said to her dad, listen, Dad, winning isn't everything. Sometimes you've got to do a little bit of work for charity.
Are you doing some care in the community? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But that is... you just are the dream team, right?
I totally agree.
Sums it up. And actually, Diane, you've made it work. Did you know what you were going to do or how you were going to teach this? Because so much of it is mirroring each other or copying movements or what. Did you have a plan?
Well, I would say probably 80% of teaching I would show.
Yes.
That's the easiest way is to show someone what I'm trying to tell them. However, I can't do that with Chris. I had no idea how it was going to work. I didn't know that I was going to be paired with Chris until I was paired with Chris. So I had obviously looked him up and I was a big fan of all his work and so was hoping to be paired with Chris. But we've just made it work together with, trial and error, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some things work, some things don't, but that's how we have to go through each week. And each dance is going to be completely different for Chris.
Yeah. This is the funny thing, is that, like, she didn't know who she was being paired with, but just before she came through the door and we met, they must have said to her, listen, you don't know who you're paired with, but when you go through that door, make sure you say who you are. Oh, who could that be?
But from your perspective, watching the two of you train, and this is the interesting thing as a professional, like you're saying, 80% is showing, Chris, you're having to sort of feel the movements that Diane wants you to do rather than, because of course you can't see them. How have you found that sort of reflecting and learning that process? Because for you, I mean, it's one thing, the physical side of it, but the mental side of it must be absolutely shattering.
Mentally draining, yeah. It's mentally draining in terms of, like, there's a lot of description. Sometimes I have to get on my hands and knees and feel what her feet are doing. I mean, she's got muscles in the lower parts of them legs I didn't even know existed. And then sometimes, like, when all else fails, she gets to her hands and knees and just picks my leg up and puts it where she wants it.
Just moves it around.
Yeah, like I'm one of them bendy Spider-Man figures from there's a lot of that, but there's so many things to concentrate on in terms of... I find it difficult to tell my arms what to do when I'm trying to tell my legs what to do. And so, it's like I have a little junction box in the middle and it goes, do you want to send this to the legs or the arms? And if it goes to the legs, my arms are just flopping about the place. So
and your fingers go banana.
It does. But we're getting there, aren't we?
But every week we start from scratch.
Yeah, but you know what? You're not getting there. You're so entertaining and it's so fun to watch. So what can we expect to see this week?
Oh, well, this week we're dancing a jive.
Mayhem.
Which is,
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah, it's very fast.
It's
So
not just
I would
fast,
say this is
relentless.
probably the most choreography that we've had in any of our routines
Right.
so far. So and it's the fastest one we've done so far. And we're moving around the floor a lot. We've got props involved, so we've got to get to positions.
There's props as well.
Yeah, so the thing with it,
How are you doing that?
that's the thing. We've got to aim for certain parts of the floor at certain times in the dance. So even that in itself is, at first I thought, oh, this is like not going to work. But you've proved me wrong again, and we've made it work. So there's a lot going on in this routine. That's all we can say there.
So
It's going to be fun.
It's relentless. There's no let up in it whatsoever. At the minute, I feel like I can't feel my legs, and all I can feel is my legs at the same time. I feel like I've been riding a horse for a month. It is killing me. I spend about a third of the time trying to jive and 2/3 of the time lying on the floor trying to breathe.
Well, listen, we love that it's relentless, and we hope it
Really
carries on
do.
forever
It will,
and ever,
Chris and
all
Diane.
the way to the very, very end. We can't wait.
Keep those hot
Can't
knees
wait.
going, Chris.
No, for sure.
You're getting fitter and stronger every
I'm a
single
broken
week.
man, Ben. I'm a broken man.
Nah, you're just beginning, man.
You're
You're just
right,
beginning.
Chris.
And by the way, she's loving breaking you every single week. That's the look on her face.
On your knees, Chris, on your knees.
Great to see you both. Thank you for coming in.
you.
We will be watching Saturday night as well, won't we?
Yeah, Strictly Come Dancing continues Saturday at 6:25
Oh,
on
hello.
BBC One.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
God.
You know, it's what's so infectious, Susie. Susie was watching all those clips and joining in and dancing still.
Plucking.
I just
and-
forget I'm me. I lots of time want to put my bass down and go out and watch.
And just enjoy it.
Yeah,
like
just
a
enjoy.
fan.
I just go into that persona immediately.
Susie, it's been
Fist goes up, you know.
Yeah, of course.
60 years is an extraordinary amount of time, and you've still, but I mean, that's the point, you've still got that love and joy and an absolute need for this still to be what you do.
Absolute need. I was born, I believe, I was put on this earth to entertain and communicate and create. But I'm an entertainer in my heart and soul. When I go out there, you know, the first gig I did, I was 14, and we formed the band and we did our first show. And I remember looking down at the crowd below me, and what ran through my head was, I'm home.
At 14?
14, I'm home. So I'm a natural performer. It's in
where you're
my
happiest.
blood,
Yeah, because you started with bongos, you played percussion, you played the piano, then you self-taught yourself bass.
I was given the bass.
And you started off playing
I
with
didn't
your
know any
thumb,
better.
right?
I didn't know. And I can't stand picked bass. Everybody out there, if you pick your bass, put it down. it's fingers on strings.
Yeah.
This is what the bass came from.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
of course, like a double bass.
yeah.
Yeah. And I do in my show an 8-minute bass solo.
8 minutes?
Yes. And it's a complicated one.
I'm sure
And
it
I
is.
challenge other bass players to do it. It's quite impressive,
Have you ever found any of the ones, because on TikTok and stuff, they will all do that, right? This is the Susie Quattro bass solo, I'm going to try and give it a go. Have they started trying to
I've
imitate
seen
it?
some people try to do it.
They fail. but the thumb you can do, that's when you slap the bass with your thumb as well.
That is a
different?
modern technique of
Right.
slapping. The technique I learned was this kind of slapping.
So
more,
really-
more like the old
Yes,
stand-up.
yeah.
I'm an old school bass player.
So you're going on tour again. You're actually playing at the Palladium.
November 13th.
What keeps you going? I mean, you can see just how much energy you've got and how much you love it and how twinkly your eyes are and you just light up when you talk about it. But what keeps you going and what can we expect from those shows?
First of all, I haven't needed to work for many, many years. I'm frugal.
Yeah.
My mother was, you know, we had 5 kids, so she taught me to be frugal. I don't know what I would do if I didn't do what I do.
Yeah.
It's just so invigorating. I'm high. It's a natural high. You come off the stage and you're up there for like hours. In fact, the loneliest part of that gig, actually, walking off the stage. I always tell my husband, I don't drink when I work ever, but I want my glass of champagne as soon as I leave that. Because you're like this, and then you go down these steps, and
it feels lonely.
in the dark. Oh,
Yeah.
you're really lonely.
And a glass of champagne just gives you that little pep.
Well,
that-
you don't crash to the floor. You go down slowly on the bubbles, you know.
Happiness in every bubble.
Yes, that's what you told me.
The two things in my dressing room, my bottle of champagne, which I don't drink the whole bottle, I always share it with everybody, and my hairdryer, because you're always soaking wet.
Sounds good to me,
my rider.
Susie.
It's all you need.
That's all you need. I'm not a diva.
Yeah.
Sounds good
And
to me.
director Nick has the same rider.
Tell us about the Palladium, because that's going to be super exciting, and you're going to also tell stories.
We're going to film it.
You are?
And it's going to be filmed.
Film it.
Oh, great.
So anybody that comes to the Palladium, you better be good.
Do your makeup.
Because if you're not good, I'm going to make sure the camera zooms in on you, you know. So I don't want any of this. I want this. There's screens at every gig on the store. And I take you musically and verbally through my life.
Yeah.
So you get the whole rainbow. You know, I'm not just this. I play the song at the piano.
Lovely.
Just by myself. I play some drums.
Yeah.
I do the solo. So you're getting the whole story.
The full quattro.
You're going to be entertained.
Well, one story that I really want to hear about is the Alice Cooper story, because you actually broke his nose.
Did you break his nose?
She broke his nose.
Not the legend that is Alice Cooper.
Yes. Go.
And he still did a duet with me for this stuff.
Because you've just written a song with him as well, right?
Yeah.
Irresistible.
He's the first track
He's
we
scared
recorded.
of you, that's why.
I know. He is. That's the first song we recorded for the new album. We did a duet in Detroit.
Right.
I was on the tour with them, the Welcome to My Nightmare tour. There were 85 shows, and we got crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's just crazy. And we decided to have a rubber gun, dart gun fight.
As you do.
As you do.
Dark
And
gun
of course
fight.
you do. So, and it was my idea. So we ended up in the corridors with mattresses, and it got really quite serious. And Alice hid behind a television, okay, to see where I was to get me.
Yeah.
And he stuck his nose out. He's got rather a big nose. And he stuck it out, and I went boing, and went.
And broke his nose.
He said first he went, ouch, and then good shot. And he wore my T-shirt on stage out of respect.
And is
No,
was it
after you break his nose.
Yes.
But was it at that point that he started wearing the eye makeup running? Because when you get hit in the nose, it makes your eyes water, and that's what he's done.
I'm a good shot.
You are a good shot. Has he ever? Because I've played golf with Alice Cooper. He loves his golf. Has he ever got you on a golf course?
He does. I had to leave a suitcase home on that tour so he could take his golf clubs on the rented aircraft. That was his revenge.
That's amazing. I love it. On his rock and roll tour, he's got his golf clubs in the back.
And then one other story that I was super jealous about was, and we were talking about it in makeup because I wanted to know more, was when Elvis rang you up to invite you to Graceland.
He did. Everybody else wants to know that one.
Yeah.
I was in America, 1974. My version of All Shook Up was in the charts. And a phone call came to my room in Memphis hotel, and it was his people.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he was on the phone. No, I thought I would die. And he said, hello, Susie, Elvis, he said, I heard your version of All Shook Up, and I think it's the best since my own, and I'd like to invite you to Graceland while you're in town.
Yeah.
I went, I'm very busy.
What?
She didn't go.
You told Elvis you were busy?
I did. But you know why? I wasn't quite ready to meet him.
Right, okay.
Can you understand that? Wasn't scared, just wasn't quite ready.
Didn't think you were
I wanted another year of being in the limelight, maybe another year of hits and all that, and blah, blah, blah. But he has actually been my spiritual guidance on my shoulders since the age of 5 1/2.
Amazing.
Is it where the leather cat suit came from? Like
sure.
that like 78 special,
Absolutely.
right?
That poster, Nick, can you put that poster up again? Because the cat suit, which I think is such a special, iconic
I still
image,
wear
isn't
it.
it?
I still wear
You
it.
still got it there, look. I mean,
That's the iconic shot.
and it was a battle for you to be allowed to wear that first time round. I couldn't quite
Well,
believe this.
there was me.
Who thought that wasn't a good idea?
It was leather was my idea with Mickey Most, bless you. He wanted me to talk about my image, and I said, I'm wearing leather, and he said, no. We had a big argument about it, and I got my way, of course, got my way.
Cool.
Yeah, that's in his office, actually. He must be around right now. And he said, okay, you can wear leather, but what about a jumpsuit? And I said, okay, and swear to God, I can be very naive.
Right.
My husband says it's part of my charm. I didn't know it was sexy.
Right.
No idea.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was
Quite
sensible.
tomboy. It's quite tomboyish.
I could do this.
Wipe clean,
You know,
it's,
and then we got the contact sheet back with all those pictures on it. And Mickey was looking to find the right one.
Yep.
And he said, come here, have a look. And I looked and I went, oh dear, Oh, dear. Then I realized I didn't know. But that's true sex appeal.
Yeah, for sure.
When you have no idea.
That's really attractive when you don't know.
And I really didn't know.
No.
Well, look, Susie, we haven't got any more time, unfortunately. It's been
Oh,
a joy
what a
to
shame.
have
I
you.
was enjoying this.
It was
Thank
lovely.
you for coming and sharing some of those stories with us.
My pleasure.
You will get more stories at the Palladium and across the whole of the tour. The tickets are available right now. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Nice
Lovely
to be here.
to meet you. And those boots, coveting.
Oh,
them
hello.
now.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
And we are thrilled to say that Colin Farrell joins us now. We're going to fangirl over you so bad right now because the show is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Lovely.
Tell us a bit about it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
It picks up, the show, The Penguin, picks up about a week after the film The Batman ends.
Right.
And parts of Gotham are still underwater from the explosions of the seawalls that the Riddler perpetuated. And basically, there's a power vacuum in Gotham. Carmine Falcone, who was the main gang lord in Gotham, died at the end of the film. So now there's a power grab to fill the vacuum that he created. And it's kind of Oz's ascension into power, yeah.
One of the things I think that we were so drawn by the character and by the way they've done it, though, Colin, it doesn't feel like a part of that superhero universe in terms of what we'd have expected in the past. It feels like a gangster, mafia, really dark, brooding story. And you can see it fits perfectly within Gotham.
Yeah.
But that backdrop of capes and superheroes and stuff feels a million miles away from where Penguin is.
And it's a look at Gotham that we haven't really seen, I don't think, because it's kind of down in the gutter.
Yes.
Bruce Wayne lives in very rare air, and even when he's dealing with criminality, it's kind of from the perspective of the hoi polloi, you know, the upper echelons of society. And this is really down in the working classes, down where people are struggling, down where the people of particularly the neighbourhood of Crown Point have been kind of disavowed of the lives they were living because of the flooding, and they haven't been given support by the politicians that have promised to make life better, as often happens. So it's a new look at Gotham, a really rough, dark look at the underbelly of Gotham, yeah.
It's almost like 1970s New York, before it was like properly all cleaned up.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us about the character, because if I'd have seen this without knowing that you were involved in it, I would never have guessed.
No one would. I would never have guessed.
Years that was you.
Yeah. I mean, if you stuck me with a drug and you knocked me out and you put me in the makeup and you took a photograph and then I woke up and you showed me the photograph and you'd say, who's that? I wouldn't recognise it. I wouldn't recognise it from the eyes. There's something... I mean, I'm totally gone. I was totally submerged by 4 hours of makeup at the start of every...
Was it 4 hours?
We got it down to about 3. The first test was 8. Which was about 6 months before we did the Batman film. We did a makeup test in a soundstage on Warner Brothers lot in Hollywood.
That's a full-time job.
Yeah, there was 12 artists. Someone that was taking care of the wigs, someone that was taking care of the eyebrows because they take a lot to hide.
Look at that.
And that was it at the start of every day. It was 3 hours. And I loved it because you can probably tell from the colour of Crystal's hair, they're a bunch of misfits, the makeup team. And we'd go in every morning, we'd have our coffee, we'd shoot the breeze and play music, gossip a little bit, and then I'd get into the script and get ready for the day ahead.
But so you got it down to 3 hours, but that's still significant. And the whole prosthetics that you are wearing must have been heavy and seriously hot.
It was hot. I had a tent. I had a tent that I called me Igloo for obvious reasons. And they had 3 industrial air conditioners piping in. So as soon as I heard cut, I'd walk off the set, zip, zip, zip. I'd get into the tent. There's a chair there of my own. It was lovely and isolated and alone. And I'd stare into space until I heard, they're ready for you, Oz. And
you just sit there on your own cooling down?
Yeah, just cooling down because the nose would fall off or the chin would become loose. And you didn't want that with your penguin,
and I bet you were all like...
Sticky as. But the hardest job in the whole gig was probably Caroline, who was taking care of the makeup and the bodysuit. And what she had to... What she had to deal with at the end of a 15-hour day, man, what she had to deal with.
I can imagine.
When I sweated through the suit so that you could see the shirt sweating, Caroline knew she was in for a tasty undress that day.
But there's practicalities around... I mean, if you're shooting all day, you know, there's practicalities around having that much prosthetics on. What happens if you need a comfort break?
Well, I don't.
You just don't?
I don't have breakfast and I don't have lunch.
Well,
I'll just say that. I don't have breakfast and I don't have... Yeah. It was penguin intermittent fasting helped out. Somehow I managed. I think my brain just, you know... And I mean, to go for a pee, you know, it was a bit tricky. It'd take about 20 minutes. You'd need a sat-nav to find yourself because there was layers and buttons and zips and layers and buttons and zips and layers and buttons and zips.
Don't leave it to the last minute, otherwise you're in trouble.
No, absolutely. That's not a runner. That's not a runner.
But interestingly, there is a scene where your character is being tortured and he is naked.
That was a 7 or 8 hour makeup that day. I mean, look, honest to God, it was such a privilege to do the show primarily because I was like, I don't forget, I was a 7-year-old sitting on a carpet in my parents' house in Dublin, watching Burgess Meredith, quack, 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 and Adam West, and Kapow, Kerrang, and all that stuff. Like, I watched Gotham 66, and then, or Batman 66, and then I grew up as a cinema-going member of the public, and I saw Danny DeVito's Penguin. So the lore and mythology of Gotham was a huge part of my upbringing. So that was never lost on me. And then you add on the brilliance of Mike Marino, who designed the makeup, and that whole thing. I just felt like a canvas, you know, it was extraordinary, really.
Did you speak to Danny DeVito, or did
we
you
just sent text back and forth a little bit, like, I'm the best penguin, no, you're the best penguin, I'm the best penguin, no, you are, okay, I am. You know, just silly stuff, yeah.
There's so much of it, like the prosthetics is one thing, but also his walk, his gait, and all of that. How did you come about?
Yeah, no, the character's really complicated in the way that he just... I knew in the film I had 5 or 6 scenes, and I kind of knew that the penguin's purpose was to be a red herring in this investigation that was going on. And he was gregarious in the film, and they gave me loads of fun lines and all that stuff. But I knew that if it was going to, you know, if interest was going to be sustained over 8 hours, that we were going to get deeper into the character's psychology and the darkness that he lives in mentally and where that comes from and what it's born of. So we're never trying to justify any of his actions because he's heinous. And by the end of if you watch it to the end of the show, it gets really, really dark.
Oh, yeah.
Like the laughter peters out and the darkness kind of comes in and consumes everything by the end.
And you can see that action happening where cruelty breeds cruelty as well. And it just kind of passes along. And then you have the great actress who plays your mum in it as well.
Yeah, Dee Dee, she's extraordinary. I loved the scenes with her because they're the only time that you really get a sense of what we would call Oz's humanity, i.e. his vulnerability, his love for her.
And also a little bit of why he is like he is. We've got a clip from tonight's episode, which is the two of you together.
Cool.
This is you with your mum.
All right, man.
You promised me, Oswald. I deserve a better life.
The whole thing is absolutely
You were just saying, looking at that, it's still weird looking at it. You're still looking for yourself.
Yeah, well, I've been afforded more objectivity. Like, only 30% of the 8 episodes was ruined for me by my involvement. Usually it's 100%, you know what I mean? Honest to God, I have a little bit more objectivity just because it's so different, you know?
Yeah.
It's been so well received, though. It's breaking ratings records.
So relieved, man.
Do you carry that pressure?
Yeah, you just want what you do and what everyone does, because, you know, it was a collective of 300 or 400 people, and we shot for 3 months, and then there was the writer and the actor strike in the middle, which had everyone stood down for 5 or 6 months, and then went back for 3. So the amount of work that the whole crew put into it, and the cast, Kristen, who you said, who plays Sophia, who's extraordinary, Dee Dee, young Renzi, who plays Victor, who's amazing in it. You just wanted to, and yourself, of course, don't get me wrong, I'm not being selfless, like, you wanted to work for everyone. So on the Thursday that I knew the reviews were going to be out, I woke up and I reached for my phone and I found myself saying, please don't be 40%. Of course, I was reaching for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes, of course.
So I opened it up and it said, I don't know, it was 91 or something, and the relief I felt. Just relief. Not like overjoyed, or just relief.
But like bigger than Succession, bigger than White Lotus, something like
5.3
million views, or like it's...
So the head of HBO texted me that, and I said, I've no idea what that means. Are you happy? Are you happy? And he said, we're thrilled. And I was like, cool, happy days, yeah.
So can we ask, are you talking about doing another one?
I haven't heard, no. I haven't heard, second season. I don't know. I think I'm in the second film. Matt Reeves has been working just head down for the last 2 years trying to get the second Batman film going, and I think he's finished with the script and they'll shoot next year. So I heard him in that. I haven't read it.
Okay.
Second season.
Look, we've loved seeing you. You're back, and I know that you're running the Dublin Marathon. We want to mention this Dublin Marathon because that's an amazing thing. You're running with a friend of yours.
Might be walking it. I might not be running so much. Well, you see, there's a walk, a jog, and then a run. So maybe a walk, definitely a jog. I'm not sure I'll be running it. Yeah, I haven't got the miles in, man, but I'll do it and we'll cross the line together. It's me and my pal, Emma Fogarty, who lives with and has lived with for 4 decades epidermolysis bullosa, which is an extraordinarily cruel condition. Yeah. And I'm going to push her the last 4K. So 1 kilometre for each decade that she survived EB. So, yeah.
Have you done a marathon before?
I did one a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away called Brisbane. Yeah.
Wow, that would be nice.
It was grand. It was
flat.
somehow, yeah, it was lovely and flat, and it was nice and warm. It wasn't Dublin in October 27th.
Oh, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for
Thanks,
you,
Kath.
for sure.
Thanks, love.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
The first 2 episodes of The Penguin are available to watch on Sky and to stream on Now, with new episodes out every Monday.
Oh, hello. You're going to love it. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
We all know the one thing we should never do is peek inside someone else's diary. Don't do it. But what if they wanted us to? Our next guest is giving us a backstage pass to his most personal thoughts and stories.
Yeah, comedian, explorer and author Michael Palin is here with us after releasing the newest edition of his diaries. And there they are. It's quite a tome, this, Michael. There's a significant amount of memories in there.
It is quite a tome, you know, but that's it. It covers 11 years.
Yes.
And what I want the diaries, what I want the book to do is not just to be about all the work you're doing, but the bits in between. Yeah. And the family life is there, and all the problems, medical examinations, all that sort of thing. Things that people don't really ever sort of, you know, put into books.
No.
It's all there because
Warts and all, as it were.
That's a sort of slab of life. So it does come out rather bulkily, yeah.
I mean, when you say a slab of life, you really do grab the bull by the horns. I mean, you don't show any signs of slowing down at all.
No. Well, I don't like slowing down, really. I mean, I know I will. I'll have to soon. But I love challenges. I love new work. I feel very privileged. I'm in a position where I can suggest things and go to places that other people wouldn't be able to see. And that's something that I think is really, really important to remember, that you know, there's lots to do, lots to see.
This decade, from 1999 to 2009, you sort of described as young Michael growing up.
Yeah.
I've never been I kept a diary when I went travelling, and I've never been, and I always think and look back and think, I really wish I had got the discipline of keeping a diary. Is it something you had done from a very early age?
Yeah, I mean, I did at school, you know, you keep it for about 3 weeks. You get your let schoolboy's diary and scribble in, you know, Mr. Johnson was rude to me today or something like that, you know, got lines. But in 1969, I decided I would try and keep it because I'd just given up smoking, and that was a great big sort of challenge to my willpower.
Right.
I thought, what can I do with this re-energised willpower? Well, I'll try and keep a diary. And it was actually about the same time that Python began, by coincidence. So I sort of kept it going. And, you know, I thought it'd be 5 weeks. It's been 55
still
years.
going.
Yeah.
And these 10 years then, so explain a little bit about what people will find in these 10 years and you growing up.
Well, it was a sort of very busy period for travelling. I mean, I'd been done around the world in 80 days, but in these diaries there's the Hemingway adventure, Sahara, Himalaya, and all things which I think, can I really keep going? Well, let's have a go. And they work out quite well. So in a sense, what you'll find here is not the journeys themselves, because they're in book form already, but what happens between, you know, airport checkouts. You know, what are you doing at home, how things are going, and how you take decisions. I mean, there's lots of things in there, like I was about to write a novel, which was set in the Glasgow sewers.
Oh, wow.
A body is discovered. Don't ask me why. But I thought this was a brilliant idea. You know, I thought, oh, great, I'll do this. And then about 3 weeks later, totally forgotten, and you're doing something else, you know? And there are many moments where I say, I'm not going to travel anymore. That's it. I've done that. And then you immediately take on a sort of, you know, 10 parts.
Yeah. But that's what's so interesting about it, and what's so honest about it as well, is there's little tiny things in there that are just kind of, you're right, like health checkups and things like that. But then there are also kind of going and choosing a book for David Attenborough's birthday and cataclysmic events like 9/11. When you were in because I was in New York, actually, when 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And what was so interesting in reading the book was there was, even in New York, there was this level of the unknown, and you didn't know what was going on. And you had a similar thing almost in the Sahara.
We were absolutely in the middle of the Sahara.
Right.
You couldn't have been in a more remote place.
No.
And, you know, there was no television then. We got sat phones so we could find out what was happening. But that was almost more alarming because you could hear dreadful things about people jumping out of buildings and all that.
Yeah.
And without it being in context. And also, there was a great fear at the time, and you probably remember it, that it was going to spill out over New York to Paris to London.
Yes.
There was my wife back
escalate.
home. What do you say when you're in the middle of the desert? So that was a kind of weird time. And the people there, I mean, they don't keep in touch with the rest of the world all the time. So
No.
for them, it was just another day.
And was it was a French couple that had a magazine?
Yeah.
That was the first time you saw any pictures?
Yeah, so these French paragliders suddenly appeared. I was trying to ride a camel again. And all that.
You know, just an everyday occurrence.
As one does. Well, yes. Well, there are no taxis there.
No, yeah, of course, yeah.
And we're going over the dune, and then suddenly these paragliders come in. They're French and all dressed up very smartly and all that sort of thing. They've got all the gear. And they had with them some magazines showing what had happened. That was the first time I saw the visuals of those appalling pictures of the towers falling.
Yeah, and when you say, actually, when you say visuals, there are some very interesting visuals in the book as well. Like the time when you go to Billy Connolly's birthday and you wear a kilt.
Yes.
The proper way too.
The traditional way.
How do you mean?
Well, yes.
Yes. Without regulation underwear.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get in a helicopter, no less. I mean, that's...
You're dicing with...
you really
all
are.
sorts.
Yeah, well, that's the way Billy does these things. You know, he has a castle up in Scotland, and it was his 60th birthday. It was a terrific event.
Yeah.
But he did want people to wear kilts. So there was a staff of people selecting kilts, putting them on and all that. I never realised how heavy a kilt is.
They are, yeah. As a garment.
Yeah. So...
But you could have had a terrible wardrobe malfunction.
I could, yeah.
Awful. It could have been
Especially
dreadful.
getting into the helicopter.
Yes, and with Chrissy Hine, and then you thought that Brian Wilson was going to get in the
From the Beach
helicopter
Boys.
as well.
Oh, yes, I said, I was with Chrissy Hine and my wife, and Chrissy Hine, she's a goddess.
Of course.
Anyway.
Sure.
And so we're just waiting for Brian Wilson. I said, Brian Wilson? The Beach Boys? My God, I have a chance to meet him. Oh, no, he's a local MP. He wasn't very good at good vibrations.
They came from Billy and the party rather than the singing. Michael, it's lovely to see you. You said that you've dropped a copy off with John Cleese.
Yes.
As you haven't had any response just yet.
Well, no, it takes him time to...
Is he being nice to you at the moment? Every now and again...
He's incredibly rude.
No. If he's nice to me, then there's trouble. You know something's gone wrong. But he's very comfortable now because Fawlty Towers is doing so well on stage.
It is, yes.
So he's quite quiet now.
I see.
He's revelling in his glory.
He does appear quite a lot, as does David Attenborough and Alan Bennett. There's wonderful people I've met in my life, and there are little moments that would not be significant, but in the diaries that's just rather
Lovely.
nice.
Little gems.
It's lovely. And you're on tour at the moment, and you're going to be talking about it and travelling around the country until October?
Yeah, till October, yes, in various venues. I get up and talk through the 11 years, the good and the bad moments. And all that.
Fabulous.
Great.
Michael, thank you for dropping by.
Well, lovely.
We'll probably
Thank
see you in a
you.
month because you're busy doing something else.
Yes.
We do like having you come in. It's always lovely. If you stick around, Jamie's making some delicious food as well.
Good. No. Jamie is always when I come here, I just end up mouth-watering. all I've got is a biscuit.
Please do.
In my
I'll
dressing
feed
room.
you. We love you.
He doesn't stop feeding everyone.
No, we'll give you a to-go.
That is fantastic. Oh, he's holding up a cauliflower now. It's really getting to grips with it.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
That he's not just the face on the top of a pint. He's the nation's...
I am mostly.
He's the nation's favourite chat show host turned best-selling novelist. You've sold over 1 million copies of your books worldwide.
That's what they tell me. That is nuts, isn't
Gordon
it?
Bennett.
Yeah, well, like, it's one of those numbers that it's easy to say, and then you actually think about...
And think about what that actually looks like.
You know, if you're at a Taylor Swift concert, that's, you know...
A fraction of
the... 30,000.
Yes.
You know?
She's doing the maths.
Yeah.
Graham Norton is here to celebrate his latest book, Frankie, which is out now.
It is, yeah.
I've been listening to the audiobook.
Have you?
I love it. How on earth do you do all those characters and all those voices? Lots of them are women too. I mean, it's a full extravaganza.
Which does sound, it makes it sound like it'll just be like farcical, but like the book is quite serious. The book is quite serious, so it's trying to find voices that aren't sort of comedy voices, but carried along. And it is mortifying because you're in that little kind of phone booth doing it, and every now and again you'll look up and see the guy on the other side of the glass just really, that's the voice you're doing.
But with all those voices Kat was saying, did you practice them and plan them? Did you have a producer who kind of went, oh no, that feels that's not quite right?
So previously, when my books were just set in Ireland, I just kind of went in and I thought, oh, I'll be fine. But of course, you then run out of Irish accents. Yeah. So, you know, the members of the same family would come from totally different bits of the country. So this one, because it's the story of a life, so it travels around. Bits are in Ireland, bits are in London, and there's New York. So this one I did have to plan a bit, and I came up with some of the voices before I went in,
And then do you listen to it back?
No. Okay. No, that's Kat's,
my job.
That's Kat's lovely pleasure.
Would you like me to send you notes from the margin? It's so good. But I think this is quite possibly your most ambitious book as well, because the lead is a female in it too.
It is. I mean, look, I think, you know, I started writing books about 10 years ago, so this is my 5th novel, and I think I wouldn't have had the confidence to do this then. Yeah. But now I did, because this is, you know, this involves kind of research, because it's set in the past. It's the story of Frankie's life, and when we meet her, she's an old woman, she's living in East London, she's broken an ankle, and she gets this carer, and the carer is this young guy called Damien, and it turns out he's from the same little bit of West Cork that she is, and that kind of unlocks something in this old lady, and she starts telling her life story to Damien, and that is the book, really. It goes back to West Cork in the late 40s, and then you come with her to London in the kind of swinging 60s, and then there's New York in the 70s and the 80s. And so because of all of those things, you know, I had to do a bit of research around it, do reading around the book, which I kind of enjoyed. I didn't think I would, because, you know, that feels like quite grown-up novelist time to do research.
So, and actually, the structure for that has bases where people could look at it and go, well, Graham, that didn't happen in the 40s there, and that didn't happen in New York in the 60s.
No, exactly.
People can sort of pick
and you know they will.
Oh, they will.
Oh, the pleasure they'll take in telling me, no, actually, that word came into vogue.
So when you say you think that you couldn't have done this with your first few books as well, do you look back at those books and kind of go, gosh, I mean, how I wrote that was relatively, in your experience, so naive, and now where it is?
No, I think what I did was I kind of matched the book to my ability, I feel. Like, my first book, it was a cosy crime book because I knew the structure of that. You know, you find a body, halfway through you find another body, at the end, the detective's life's in danger, and then it's all solved. And, you know, so I knew where I was. Whereas this, it is kind of harder to plan because, you know, it's the story of a life. And it was interesting how, you know, lives don't follow the arc of a novel story, so you have to kind of fudge it a bit to fit the story.
And you're about to start a new season of Graham Norton.
This very night.
Are you?
Yeah, tonight, yeah.
Who's on tonight?
Well, it'll be on tomorrow night.
Yes.
But if you want to hang around and say hello, you could say hello to Lady Gaga, Demi Moore, Colin Farrell, Richard Ayoade, and Jack Severetti and Miles Kane.
No one you've ever heard of.
No.
Underachievers Anonymous.
It's just a quiet opening show.
It's good, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, still amazing.
Yeah, and look, because I just did a book tour and people, you know, were asking questions. People were asking about the show coming back, and there is a weird bit on that first show back, and I don't know if you guys get this, but when you come into the studio and it feels so familiar, you know, you're in the set, it's really familiar, but at the same time, it's kind of new, and particularly, I've been doing chat shows since 1998.
Yes.
So I've had a much bigger, you know, slice of the pie that really I should, or that most people get, and so, you know, you're aware of that privilege and aware of kind of like how lucky am I, and also that I still do enjoy it.
But I think the really interesting thing about your show is, yes, you can have all these different guests and all these different really interesting elements, but you never know quite what magic is going to happen on that regular.
That is the bit that keeps me interested, because there's an alchemy. On a good night, there's an alchemy on the couch, and suddenly I have the easiest job in the world. I'm just sat there watching that couch talk to each other and getting on. Other nights, I'm doing some work. I'm really stirring it, trying to make some alchemy happen.
Profusely.
I loved the one where you had to remind Judi Dench that you'd met her in a club.
Poor old Judy.
Not that you're instantly forgettable, Graham. I mean, that's the worry.
No, not that she'd blanked it. Not that she tried to forget it.
But that's but that lineup, as soon as you get Lady Gaga, who's just done the Joker film, you've got Colin Farrell, who's just done the Penguin.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a load of superheroes on the sofa to start.
Yeah,
with.
have you watched the Penguin?
Yes.
Yes, isn't it great?
We've got great. Colin's coming on.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like him.
No, doesn't look. I mean, it's a magic trick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what keeps you watching because you're kind of thinking, how is that Colin Farrell?
Yeah, he's on with us on Monday. You've got a big lineup though because he's gone now, but you've got Jamie coming in as well. There's an amazing sort of thread of guests that you have that want to come back as well, which I think is always testament to how much fun I was going to say contestants, the guests have when they come. Yeah, everything's a game show.
Yeah. Demi Moore, everything to play for.
You're going to go for it.
Just what?
You're going to risk it. Yeah. Your other job coming through.
You're a game show host as well now, by the way, so don't go pointing fingers. But I think that's testament to how much fun they clearly have when they come on.
Look, I don't know how much. I mean, if it was that much fun, they'd come on every week. But but they obviously don't hate it. They obviously don't have a horrible time, or they wouldn't come back. So yeah, I do take it as a sort of compliment that we get return business.
And are you loving having your weekends free? No more radio show. Does it feel quite indulgent as you roll over it?
It is. It took me a while. You know that kind of thing. 'Cause for a while, it feels like you're on holiday.
Yeah.
And
Because you've done weekends for how long? Weekends on the radio?
13 years.
13 years.
13
Radio
years.
2 and then at Virgin.
Yeah, Radio 2, then Virgin. And I think when you're single, it's fine because it's just working. Then when I was married, it's hard to tell your partner, oh, by the way, we're busy every weekend for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
So
I always think it's a bit annoying having to leave them in bed.
Oh, that's very annoying.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're looking at thinking, I just want to be... I mean, obviously you love the job, but you kind of like, it just reminds you that, Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings are for having a little lie-in.
Yeah. So now that's what they are for.
Do you think you're nicer... Nice is the wrong word. Do you think you're sort of more generous to the guests now? Because sometimes I
Did you see him have to search for that one?
I love the way that when you... I mean, we're talking sort of late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
You would be a little bit more testy with some
You'd
of
be a
them.
bit spikier.
Yes.
And I think that was the mood of the time.
Yeah.
That, because we were coming off, I suppose, the back of, remember Clive Anderson and those things, where, the guest, or Dame Edna even, where the guest was the butt of the joke. And now it's very rare that I would put a joke in a question. Now it's the guest, we want the guest to be funny. And it's I agree. I think it's a more generous thing now.
There's a big shift.
Yeah. And also, my big thing is to try and make the questions shorter. Like, back then, the questions would go on for 15 minutes, and people would be going...
In what way? Give us an example.
No, it's that weird thing where, you kind of go, so when you were in America, I mean, on the West Coast, I know you've lived on the East Coast, but when you're on the...
that's more you qualify
yeah,
and put it in.
Constantly qualifying. It's just like, oh... Shut up. Shut up.
But you learn from it, though. Did you ever have anything go horribly wrong?
I mean, not really.
No.
I mean, the good thing about our show is if anything goes wrong, it's in.
It's funny.
It's going to be
Lean
funny
into
and
it.
all the thing.
That's the bits that we love now as well.
Yeah.
I remember John Voight once was telling a story about being young, and he made himself cry.
Oh.
We cut that out.
No one
Not on our show. No tears on our sofa.
John Voight crying, that's quite a thing. So that's in the archive somewhere. That's in the
somewhere.
archive.
Wow,
Do you think at some point you'll write the book about the show?
Oh, wouldn't that's my retirement plan. That's my, the smell of burning bridges. That's on my laptop. Yeah.
We'd be ready. Graham, thank you so much for popping
Well,
in.
no, thank
Amazing.
you. Thank you.
lovely
It's
to have
so
you here.
good. And his new book is out now, Frankie.
And the new series starts tomorrow night.
That's it.
As ever, and it's just an absolute treat to have you here. Thanks, Graham.
Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Thank
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Bravo!
Come on.
What an entrance, Jamie. Amazing dancing
Thank
too.
you for joining in
And
with us.
Jamie, you were
ladies,
tremendous.
Ian, sensational.
Who knew that our makeup artists and our floor
Security.
managers and security were such good dancers?
So talented and so bendy.
It's the way you whisk them around the floor.
Do you think? Well, we had a
what it is.
rehearsal earlier today, you and I, and you go up nicely. I like the way you're made of gossamer.
Oh,
Is
well,
she-
thank you
was
so much.
tremendous.
I lift from
He
within.
can make anyone shine, this man. He has that talent. Lovely to see you. How are you doing?
It's so nice. Do you know, great. Absolutely great.
It's just, do you know, I love this time of year. Stuff's happening. I love autumn. I know it feels like we've been autumn since March, but get all the gear out. I love a woolly.
Coats come out.
Your guns are out. Look
Yeah.
at you. Someone's been working out.
Ready.
And it's just a great time. And then Strictly started, and it's just, great.
And you've got your new book out.
Got the new
Brand
novel
new
coming
book,
out.
A Dance for the King.
Tomorrow, it's out tomorrow, A Dance for the King. It's gone so well. I'm so pleased with the story. Raymond, if everybody knows some of the other stories, but Raymond is back in the ballroom. He's back from
Africa.
He's been in
isn't
Africa
he?
fighting Rommel. No, he's come back to the ballroom, but he's come back to the hotel, and there's things going on. So I've always wanted to write a spy novel.
Yes.
And I thought I was writing spy novels in the beginning. Then I got nominated for a Romantic Novel of the Year award, and it turned out that I wasn't writing. I was writing romance.
Was that quite a shock to
It was
you?
a bit of a surprise. I had no idea. But there's espionage in this one. Because
nice.
he's back in the hotel, and the things are going on in the hotel. Meetings and conversations are being had, and upstairs, sort of, the powers that be have said, would you mind keeping an eye on things and keeping an ear to the ground? And also, there's a big performance at the Royal Albert Hall, which means a lot to me, because I've performed at the Royal Albert Hall many, many times over the years.
Is that one of your favourite venues?
Favourite place.
It's an amazing thing.
It's just tremendous.
But you've never performed for the King.
But I've never performed for the King. And now we've got a new king. And, of course, the King was very important during the Second World War, him and his relationship with Winston Churchill. And now we've got a king. And I just thought it was a lovely sort of synergy there. And so I've always wanted to perform for the King. Maybe one day I will. But so there's a big performance at the Royal Albert Hall for the King, with Raymond trying to save the country as well, really. I mean, it's all going on.
It strikes me that Raymond's a little sort of alter ego of Anton.
Do you think?
It strikes me that
I couldn't possibly say. Artistically, I couldn't possibly say.
But part of you would have quite liked to have been a spy. I can imagine you being a...
I would have been a ridiculous spy. You're supposed to go around and be unnoticed. I'd be like that. Hello, my loves.
He doesn't have time to be a spy. How many tours are you about to... How many tours are you
I'm about to go back out on the road again in October.
There's a book tour?
There's a book tour.
Christmas
book tour. We've got a Christmas show coming up at Christmas. So during the whole of December, come and see me, Anton, at Christmas. But before that, I'm going out on the road with the two girls and my lovely company. Lance Ellington's joining me. The wonderful Laura Emmett's joining me. Let me tell you about Laura Emmett. She's just come out of Frozen. She was magnificent. She's so brilliant. And she's going to join me for this early part of the show.
This is your show, isn't it? I came to see...
This is the one you came to see in the Palladium.
Stunning. You were at the Palladium.
The Palladium. My other favourite place in the world to be. I mean, do you know, I'm so fortunate. I never take anything for granted. And those moments are so special to me.
Pinch me, maybe.
Because the Palladium and the Albert Hall and things like that. And it's just the most... I am the luckiest guy in the world, and I never take it for granted. So I'm eternally grateful for everybody who comes and supports me. So thank you to everybody who comes and the books and enjoys the books and the stories.
Do your family ever see you, though?
Yes, they do.
Because you have children and a long-suffering wife.
My wife is remarkable. She is the greatest person I've ever met in my entire life. And my children are fabulous. Oh, there you are, look. They are wonderful.
Twins.
It's just... And I wrote a children's book, because I had 10 minutes. I wrote a children's book, and I just wanted to write something for my children.
Yeah.
That's basically the premise. I wanted to write a book for my children. So I wrote a children's book based on twins. Again, set during the Second World War, about them being evacuated and people, you know, the images of men walking on the water and the adventure sense of the adventure with that story as well. So, yeah, are they showing any dancing artistic flair? They are there, and musically as well. They've got a lovely ear for music. They both, they're both sort of trying to learn to play the piano and doing a bit of dancing and stuff. So they're really interested in it all, and they love coming to the theatre. So they love coming to see shows. So they're sort of, they understand the world.
Ingratiated
in the world. Perfect.
OK, Strictly.
Yes, I know. Isn't it marvellous?
Gotta talk about it.
Wasn't it a brilliant start?
I mean, the start of the show was just phenomenal, wasn't it?
It was so good. And there's so many wonderful characters on the show, and the dancing was really quite good. Craig gave something like
was really quite
well,
good.
no, because it's week one. Normally they're awful. I've danced with some who can remember their own name, let alone the steps.
That Garraway.
She was brilliant. And so there was some fantastic dancing at the weekend. This weekend's going to be really interesting because this is the first weekend it gets really serious because somebody goes home. So it's week 2, first elimination. And it all gets a bit serious then. People are starting to go, all right, hello.
I'm good friends with Chris McCausland, and Chris had talked to us about, very early on, about being asked to do this, and the fact that, obviously, he doesn't know the show. It sounds like people are just commentating and critiquing music. I mean, and watching him with Diane was
I have to be honest with you.
absolute joy.
I was blown away. And I know, listen, and I know he doesn't want to go, oh, I don't want to be judged differently from everybody else because I'm blind. Listen, you are, Chris, you are extraordinary. What you were able to, I thought they would, what I generally thought was that they'd probably come out, she'd take hold, she'd grab hold of him tight, and they'd start dancing, and they're side by side.
Amazing.
She's upside down.
He's playing a guitar with a leg.
Playing a guitar with a leg. Just the most brilliant. And we won't go on about this. I mean, he's blind, because I know he wouldn't want us to. But I have to take my hat off to him. He is extraordinary talent.
If you
so
follow
exciting
them,
to
if you
watch.
follow them on social media as well, the two of them keep doing these diaries, and it's absolutely hilarious because Chris talking about Diane, who talks a lot, and then what's coming up, and how stressed they all were. And all of them were so stressed last Saturday night. It's like the most nervous he's ever been. He said, I don't remember feeling nerves like that in my life, but actually they're excited about this week. So the anticipation to do more.
And again, they'll get to the top of the stairs on Saturday night and it'll all come back. I know Paul Merson, I had a little brief word with Paul Merson when I arrived, and he said he hadn't felt like this since forever ago, when he was sort of rolling out for England or something like that. I mean, that was... I mean, it is that situation, because it is such an extraordinary moment in your life that you're going to walk out in front of millions of people, in front of the whole studio, doing an American Smooth or a Cha-Cha-Cha or something. Brilliant. They are brilliant.
I think that's one of the reasons that people at home love it so much. Yes, they love the sparkle and the drama and you guys and the tan. But it is that moment, I think, that people really get invested in. And even 20 years later, it's still getting this huge audience.
We recast it every year, which is brilliant. So we get a whole new bunch of storylines. The audience, this is the most integral part of the show, I think, is that the audience vote. That makes it... That makes there's an ownership of the ownership of the show by the audience. So they vote, and so now we have 5 judges, not 4, which is vitally important for the show. But also, you know, it stayed true to itself. And there's a moment, you know what it's like making telly. A lot of it is stuff, but then there's a real moment of truth. Yeah. And that's the moment they go, and dancing the cha-cha-cha. Yeah. And they go like that. It's like anaesthetic for the legs. That's the moment. And we like, because we're like that at home, we love to watch that and see how they get on. And we just support them, all of them.
Well, we're looking forward to
this
weekend.
Us.
It's lovely to see you. Good luck with the book.
A Dance for the King.
And the book tour. Hello, quick word thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.